Imagine a relationship as a ship, strong, steady, and built to endure the vast and unpredictable ocean of life. In calm weather, it sails smoothly. But when storms roll in, that vessel is truly tested. Ideally, love should be our safe harbor, a place of refuge and healing, not another wave of chaos. We all hope for lasting connections, for bonds strong enough to withstand the shifting winds of time. But often, what weakens the structure isn't a massive blow. It's the subtle, silent cracks. Disrespect is one such crack. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It slips in quietly, through dismissive comments, unmet needs, or repeated disregard. And over time, it erodes the bedrock of trust. What's even more difficult is that we don't always recognize it. Disrespect hides in the smallest moments, both in our behavior and in others. A sigh, a cold shoulder, a careless word. And suddenly, we feel unseen, devalued, lost. But let this not be a reason to blame or accuse. Instead, take it as a gentle map, an opportunity to shed light on the dark corners of our interactions and steer ourselves toward clearer, calmer waters. In this video, we'll walk through 10 powerful Stoic lessons that will help ensure you are never disrespected again. These timeless insights from Stoic philosophy will not only help you recognize the red flags of disrespect, but also show you how to heal and rebuild. Through real-life examples and practical guidance, you'll learn how to create relationships rooted in honor and understanding. Because even the sunniest seas have ripples, and it's in how we navigate them that true strength is found. So, stay with us until the very end. Don't skip a single lesson, and if you feel ready to walk this path of inner growth, comment below. I accept the challenge. Let's start this journey together, one of discovery, clarity, and the unwavering wisdom of Stoicism. Lesson 1. Compassion. In the Stoic tradition, compassion isn't simply about being merciful. It's a much deeper practice, one of wisdom. In action, it's the strength to recognize another's suffering and respond with thoughtful care. Marcus Aurelius once offered this powerful reflection. Before you criticize someone, ask yourself, what flaw in me most closely mirrors the one I'm about to judge? To grow in compassion, begin with yourself. Accepting your own flaws with honesty and gentleness opens the door to understanding others. The next step? Listen. Not just with your ears, but with presence, with patience. Real listening is the foundation of empathy. And then, live compassion through action. It can be as simple as helping a stranger carry something heavy, or choosing to sit down and talk with someone who needs company. In daily life, these small acts weave threads of care into the fabric of our relationships. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of compassion, not for the benefit of others alone, but to set your own heart free. When we release bitterness and resentment, we make space for peace to return. Practicing compassion will not only transform your relationships, but also bring a quiet joy into your soul. Have you ever felt it? That warm shift within when you chose kindness over blame? Give it a try. You might find that compassion isn't just a noble virtue. It's the foundation of dignity and harmony. Lesson 2. Right speech. Our words are powerful tools. At their best, they build bridges of trust and understanding. At their worst, they tear down what matters most. In Stoic philosophy, right speech begins with one key principle. Always tell the truth. Speaking truthfully creates a sense of safety. It shows integrity and earns respect. Imagine being in an important meeting and owning up to a mistake rather than covering it up. That moment of honesty may feel risky, but it often wins more admiration than perfection ever could. Kindness in words is just as crucial. A gentle tone softens hard truths. Constructive feedback lands better than sharp criticism. Even in conflict, words can be chosen with care, allowing space for healing instead of deepening the wound. Another mark of right speech is usefulness. Words that teach, that solve problems, that uplift. These are remembered. They don't just fill silence, they fill needs. But sometimes silence itself speaks the loudest. Conscious silence is not avoidance, it's wisdom. Knowing when to speak and when to simply hold space can prevent countless misunderstandings and regrets. Finally, always think before you speak. Ask yourself, will this help or harm? Will it build someone up or tear them down? As Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. In communication, that means choosing words you'd be willing to receive. So reflect. How can you bring truth, kindness, and usefulness into your daily conversations? By aligning your speech with Stoic principles, you'll naturally attract more respect and stronger, more meaningful connections. Have you ever seen how a single kind word or a well-timed silence changed the tone of a room? Share your story below. We'd love to hear it. In the whirlwind of modern life, emotions often run high. Chaos seems to lurk at every corner. But Stoic philosophy offers us a calm anchor, an invitation to center ourselves through presence and awareness. Let's step into the next lesson and explore how mindfulness, a core practice in Stoicism, becomes the gateway to self-respect and calm authority. Lesson 3. Mindfulness. As we continue exploring Stoic wisdom, you might wonder, how can we stay centered, even when life feels like a whirlwind of emotions and chaos? The answer lies in a powerful practice, mindfulness. In Stoic philosophy, mindfulness is more than a trendy term. It's a disciplined way of living. It means being fully present in each moment, aware of your thoughts and emotions, but not controlled by them. It's how we gain the self-respect that comes from emotional stability and clear thinking. Imagine sitting quietly, like Marcus Aurelius might have, in the calm of dawn. You close your eyes, breathe deeply, and simply observe, without reacting, without judgment. This practice of mindfulness, especially through meditation, trains us to become witnesses to our thoughts instead of victims of them. Why is this important? Because when we're mindful, we gain a pause, a sacred space between stimulus and response. In that pause, we choose our actions instead of letting emotions drive us. Let's bring this into a real-life scenario. Picture yourself in a team meeting. Suddenly, a colleague blames you unfairly for a mistake. Your pulse quickens. You feel the heat rising. But instead of snapping back, you take a deep breath. You remain calm. You respond, I understand your concern, but in this case, the issue was caused by the system. I'll coordinate with the tech team to resolve it. With that composed reply, you've not only defended your position, but you've done so with dignity. You maintained your respect and made it hard for others not to respect you. That's the power of mindfulness. It helps us steer away from impulsive reactions and toward conscious responses. It's a practice that strengthens mental clarity, sharpens decision-making, and reinforces inner peace. And the benefits go beyond the moment. Over time, mindfulness improves your emotional resilience, boosts your mental well-being, and even enhances your relationships. Why? Because people trust and admire those who stay calm under pressure. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly paused before reacting? What might change if you lived each day with greater presence and awareness? In the Stoic view, mindfulness is not just a helpful tool. It's the very foundation of a peaceful and respected life. Let it guide you, and you'll find that storms may still come, but you'll no longer be swept away by them. Having grounded ourselves in mindfulness, we now step into a healing space, the place where emotional freedom begins. Because no journey to self-respect is complete without learning how to truly let go. Let's move forward with Lesson 4, Forgiveness. In life, we all yearn for moments of peace, to enjoy the simple joys of freedom and happiness. But what happens when pain enters the picture, when someone wounds us deeply? Forgiveness, though difficult, becomes the bridge that leads us back to emotional liberation. Forgiveness, in Stoic philosophy, is not about forgetting the pain or pretending it didn't exist. It's about rising above it. It's a noble act of strength, one in which those who've been hurt choose to let go, not for the sake of the offender, but to free their own hearts from the chains of resentment. To forgive is to accept that others are flawed, just as we are. It's to understand that mistakes are often made from ignorance, not intention. By releasing the grip of anger, we allow space for clarity, growth, and self-respect. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." Holding on to grudges only weighs us down. Forgiveness, on the other hand, lightens the soul and restores inner peace. But there's another side we often overlook: self-forgiveness. Many of us find it easier to forgive others than to forgive ourselves. Yet acknowledging and learning from our mistakes is essential for personal growth. Perfection doesn't exist. What matters is how we rise after falling. A powerful example of forgiveness is Nelson Mandela. After enduring 27 years of imprisonment, he chose to forgive his captors. He didn't let bitterness shape his actions. Instead, he became a symbol of reconciliation, bringing hope and healing to a divided nation. Here, benefits of forgiveness are far-reaching. It reduces stress, improves both mental and physical health, and creates healthier, more respectful relationships. It's not about denying the hurt. It's about facing it with grace and choosing to move forward. So, ask yourself, is there someone you need to forgive, perhaps even yourself? Let forgiveness be a daily practice, not a rare gesture. Share your own story in the comments. How has forgiveness changed your life? Lesson 5. Non-attachment. To live a life where no one can easily shake your inner peace, you must learn one of the most liberating Stoic practices: non-attachment. Have you ever pinned all your hopes on something? A job, a result, someone's approval, only to be left disappointed? Stoicism teaches us to detach from outcomes. When you give your best to a task but let go of the need to control the result, you begin to understand true peace. Marcus Aurelius captured it well. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. In life, we are constantly met with unexpected challenges. But if we anchor ourselves to effort, not outcome, we remain steady even when things don't go our way. Detachment also extends to material things. The more we cling to possessions or appearances, the more fragile our peace becomes. But when we free ourselves from the desire for luxury or status, we discover a quieter form of wealth: contentment. Seneca, another great Stoic, urged us to live simply. Why? Because when we're not defined by what we own, we can't be disrespected by what we lose. Simplicity restores dignity. Another layer of detachment is letting go of the need for approval. This is especially powerful. When your self-worth no longer depends on validation from others, you gain true confidence. You stand taller, freer, more assured in your values. Lastly, cultivate contentment. The Stoics believed happiness lies not in acquiring more, but in appreciating what already is. When we find joy in everyday moments, a warm cup of tea, a kind word, the evening breeze, we become immune to external judgments. We radiate a calm confidence that others naturally respect. These practices help us remain unshaken by insults, unaffected by loss, and grounded in peace. Non-attachment isn't about withdrawal, it's about inner freedom. So how can you start today? Begin by noticing what you cling to, and gently let it go. We've just journeyed through the powerful idea of non-attachment, a practice that quietly shields us from emotional chaos and brings us closer to serenity. Now, let's take a look at another essential Stoic virtue, one that humbles us, connects us with others, and deepens the respect we earn from the world. Let's discover the quiet strength of humility. Lesson 6. Humility, or kiem ton, is often misunderstood as weakness. But in Stoic philosophy, it is a sign of great strength, an inner knowing that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy, and that no one, including yourself, holds all the answers. A humble person acknowledges their limitations. They recognize that learning is endless and that everyone, regardless of status or background, has something valuable to teach. Imagine being in a room full of people with diverse experiences. Instead of trying to impress or dominate the conversation, you choose to listen, to observe, to absorb. That's humility, and that's how respect is silently earned. Humility also means recognizing the contributions of others. When you take time to appreciate someone's effort, no matter how small, you build an atmosphere of mutual respect. People feel seen, valued, and uplifted, and they respond in kind. One of the highest expressions of humility is service, helping others without expecting anything in return. Epictetus urged us to be of service, not for praise, but because it's the right thing to do. Service deepens our humanity. It makes our presence nourishing to those around us. Another powerful way to practice humility is by sharing knowledge. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, said, "While we teach, we learn. When you share what you know, you don't just benefit others. You reinforce your own understanding and open yourself to new perspectives." Finally, humility allows for meaningful collaboration. It teaches us that everyone has a role, a voice, and a unique strength. In this spirit, we grow together, not through competition, but through connection. So the next time you're tempted to prove you're right or show you're better, pause. Ask, what can I learn here? That question alone can shift your energy from ego to growth, and others will feel it. Humility doesn't lower your worth. It elevates your character. From the quiet power of humility, we arrive at a virtue that supports every goal, every relationship, and every success you will ever build: patience. Lesson 7. Patience. In a world that moves faster by the day, patience often feels like an outdated virtue. But in the eyes of Stoic wisdom, it is one of the most noble and essential strengths a human being can develop. Patience is more than waiting. It's how we wait. It's the calm we choose in the face of delay, challenge, or uncertainty. Most of us have goals, dreams we long to achieve. But how many people truly stay the course when the path gets steep? That's where patience becomes the dividing line between those who succeed and those who give up. Patience allows us to accept that some things take time, real time. Whether you're working toward a career goal, building a meaningful relationship, or healing from emotional pain, instant results are rare. Stoicism teaches us to trust the process and remain committed even when progress seems invisible. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about endurance and the strength to withstand discomfort without complaint. This kind of resilience is born from patience, not just with situations but with ourselves. Let's take a simple example. Imagine someone named Philip. During a tense meeting, a colleague throws an unfair insult his way. Many would react in anger, raise their voice, or storm out. But Philip doesn't. He takes a breath. He considers the bigger picture. Perhaps the colleague is under stress. Perhaps it wasn't personal. After the meeting, Philip approaches him calmly and has a private conversation. That act of patience doesn't just diffuse the conflict. It builds trust, respect, and a better working relationship. Patience also gives us the power to pause before we speak, to hold back when emotions surge, and to choose wisdom over impulse. It softens frustration, deepens tolerance, and expands the heart. Through patience, we become more compassionate, more thoughtful, more resilient. It is not a passive virtue. It's an active force that shapes how we engage with life. So the next time you feel rushed, wronged, or restless, remember this. You are not powerless. You are practicing patience. And in that practice, you're cultivating a quiet, steady strength that others will admire. Earlier, we reflected on how patience teaches us to slow down, remain steady, and gain respect through resilience. But have you ever noticed how some people are consistently admired? Not because they demand respect, but because their presence naturally earns it? What's their secret? Often it lies in something incredibly simple yet deeply powerful: kindness. Lesson 8. Kindness. Kindness is more than a virtue. It is the quiet strength that shapes how others feel in our presence. It is also a reflection of our own self-worth. Though patience may be the foundation of enduring strength, kindness builds the bridge that connects us with others. It begins not with grand gestures, but with small, sincere acts, a warm smile, an encouraging word, or simply the willingness to listen. In the Stoic tradition, kindness is not merely about helping others. It's a way of being. It influences how we treat not only those around us, but also ourselves. A person who is harsh with others is often even harsher within. Practicing kindness inwardly is just as vital as extending it outward. Think of someone who, despite facing stress or setbacks, still chooses to act with gentleness and grace. That's not weakness. That's wisdom in action. It's the patience to let time unfold, to let sincerity speak louder than pride. And here's something to remember. Kindness is patient. It doesn't demand quick rewards. Like a seed, it grows, slowly but steadily, nurtured by consistency, compassion, and sincerity. When you live kindly, people sense it. They trust you more. They open up. And in return, you earn something far greater than surface-level approval. You earn their respect. Self-kindness is equally important. When you forgive yourself for past missteps, you lift the weight of guilt. You give yourself permission to grow. Self-care, self-respect, and self-forgiveness are not signs of selfishness. They are signs of emotional maturity. So ask yourself, how do I speak to myself? Am I kind when I make mistakes? Let kindness flow inward first, and it will naturally ripple outward. Lesson 9. Gratitude. Kindness blossoms when it grows in the soil of gratitude. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more, do more, and be more, Stoic philosophy gently reminds us to pause and appreciate what is already here. Gratitude begins with noticing, acknowledging the little joys, a helping hand, a peaceful morning, a shared laugh. Whether it's a friend's support or the warmth of sunlight on your skin, these moments carry quiet beauty. Journaling is one of the most effective ways to build this habit. Each evening, take a moment to jot down 3 things you're thankful for. It could be something as small as a good cup of tea, or as meaningful as a conversation that lifted your spirits. Gratitude doesn't require grandiosity. A heartfelt thank you to someone can brighten their entire day. And when expressed regularly, gratitude creates a chain reaction of positivity. Living gratefully also means being present. Instead of dwelling on the past or fearing the future, Stoics teach us to embrace the now. When we fully experience the present, we begin to understand how much we already have. Mindful consumption is another way to show gratitude. Buy only what you need. Appreciate what you own. This simplicity doesn't restrict you. It frees you. It teaches contentment and sharpens awareness of life's true value. The benefits of gratitude are not only emotional but physical. Studies now affirm what Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius knew centuries ago. Gratitude reduces stress, boosts mental clarity, and brings joy. As Marcus once wrote, "You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." Gratitude helps us do exactly that. It aligns us with peace, not just with others, but within ourselves. And for those with faith, gratitude becomes a sacred act. When we give thanks for each blessing, no matter how small, we grow closer to the divine. We begin to see life not as a list of demands, but as a gift to be cherished. Lesson 10. Self-reflection. Now that we've cultivated gratitude, we arrive at the final and perhaps most transformative Stoic lesson, self-reflection. Self-reflection is not simply a moment of thought, it is a lifelong practice, a daily return to oneself, a journey inward that brings clarity, humility, and strength. For the Stoics, this practice is both personal and spiritual. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, began each day by reminding himself, "Today I will encounter people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." These words were not bitter. They were grounding. They prepared him to respond with awareness rather than impulse. To reflect is to see ourselves honestly, not just who we wish to be, but who we truly are. It helps us identify our weaknesses, our triggers, our patterns. And from that awareness, we begin to change. One of the simplest yet most powerful methods is journaling. Each evening, set aside a few minutes to write down your thoughts, your actions, your emotions. What went well? What didn't? Why did you react the way you did? This practice turns experience into wisdom. Meditation also plays a vital role. When you sit in silence, distractions fall away. Your inner voice becomes clearer. You start to notice thoughts you usually overlook, emotions you've buried surface, and through gentle observation, they begin to release. For those who follow a spiritual path, prayer and divine contemplation can also be part of reflection. Asking for guidance, for insight, brings not only answers but peace. True self-reflection is not about judgment, it's about understanding. And when we understand ourselves, we naturally become more compassionate, more humble, and more respected. So ask yourself, what did I learn about myself today? The answers may surprise you. We've now walked through 10 profound lessons from Stoic philosophy, each a stepping stone toward a life of peace, dignity, and unshakable self-respect. From mindfulness and compassion to forgiveness, humility, and self-reflection, these timeless teachings offer a compass for navigating modern life with wisdom. Think about the lives of great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Their words have lasted for centuries, because truth, when lived, becomes eternal. How helpful did you find this journey? Rate this video from 1 to 5 in the comments, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss an episode. Your support fuels our mission to bring Stoic wisdom into today's world. And now, join us in the next video, where we explore how to apply these 10 Stoic virtues in everyday challenges, at work, at home, and in your personal growth journey. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.